all in line. They're off in the Preakness. Mystik Dan came out very well. So to Imagination, sees the gray, goes up in between horses, and Brian Hernandez is going to take back on Mystik Dan as Sees the Gray takes the early lead. Imagination on the outside is second. These two to set the pace 3 lengths ahead of Mystik Dan and Just Steel. Then Catching Freedom, Tuscan Gold in behind them, Uncle Heavy and Mugatu at the back of the pack. The opening quarter mile was 24.04 seconds for front-running Sees the Gray, who has seized the lead, and Frankie Dettori is keeping Imagination well off the rail in second, a length behind. And then comes Mystik Dan, who's on the rail just alongside of Just Steel. They've got 2.5 on Catching Freedom, who's fifth and 7 lengths off the lead. Then Tuscan Gold, Uncle Heavy on the inside, and Mugatu. 47.33 was the half mile for Sees the Gray, who heads up the backstretch in front with Imagination, his closest pursuer, in second. Just Steel and Mystik Dan are heads apart, third and fourth. Catching Freedom is well held, fifth in behind them with 5 lengths to make up at the half-mile pole. Tuscan Gold is next. Around the far turn they go, and it is still Sees the Gray who leads the way for D. Wayne Lucas, and has been there every step of the way so far. Mystik Dan has made a move, and now he's just to the outside. He's taken second. Then comes Imagination in third as they come to the top of the stretch. Sees the Gray turning for home in front. Mystik Dan confronts him. Catching Freedom now right behind and swinging to the outside. Sees the Gray is still there. Mystik Dan bearing down on the outside. Sees the Gray won't go away. Mystik Dan Catching Freedom moving down the center of the track. But Wayne Lucas has done it. Sees the Gray wins the Preakness. Oh! They're off in the Kentucky Derby. Fierceness had an okay start. He came away in the middle of the pack. Track Phantom will go to the early lead, and now John Velasquez gets Fierceness into the mix. Stronghold is there. Epic Ride goes up on the far outside. Just Steel is close up too as they race past the first time. And then comes Mystik Dan down on the inside of West Saratoga. Resilience is next. Then comes Society Man on the outside of Just a Touch. Catalytic along the rail. Nordic is next, saving all the ground into that turn. Then comes Catching Freedom, Domestic Product, Rambo the first. Then Japan's Forever Young down on the inside. Sierra Leone has 3 horses beaten. They are T.O. Password, Honor Marie, and Endlessly. So this important half mile coming up here. They run that first half in 46.63 seconds. Pace is even enough, not flying. Track Phantom the leader. Just Steel perched up on the outside second. Fierceness is third just outside of them. Then Stronghold, Mystik Dan to the inside. And Epic Ride 3 wide. West Saratoga in behind that group. Then Stronghold, he's got 7 lengths to make up. Look back for Sierra Leone, he's still about 14 lengths behind as Track Phantom passes the half-mile pole with the lead, and Fierceness is moving now, and going right with him is Just Steel, the 3 of them across the track. Then Longshot Epic Ride, Mystik Dan toward the inside, Stronghold is next. Then Fierceness, Sierra Leone and Forever Young still with work to do. Forever Young is starting to pick it up as they come toward the top of the stretch. It is Fierceness who's moving up on the outside of Track Phantom, and there on the far outside, here comes a run from Stronghold and Resilience has now moved up to take the lead as Fierceness is given way, coming by the 16th pole, and Mystik Dan has now come through on the inside. It is Mystik Dan down toward the inside with the lead in the final 16th. Forever Young, Sierra Leone is coming. These 3 coming down to the wire. Who's it going to be? Oh, it's a photo of the Derby. Oh, it's a photo. Was it Mystik Dan or was...
We're ready to go, and they're off in the Arkansas Derby. And a good break for all the runners in the race, and there was a roar from the crowd as they left the gate. Time for Truth up on the pace. He's provident, and there's Muth on a hold right now. These two together with 1 lap to go. Jess Steele runs in the 3rd position. Timberlake 4th. Scraping Paint approaching the turn on the heels of the leader around the turn. Informed Patriot in the 5th position early. Dymatic a little bit keen, but more settled down than in his last race. He's 2 lengths off the lead as they're pretty tightly clumped up. Mystik Dan and Liberal Arts are next. Liberal Arts has to take up here and drops towards the back of the field here. Imperial Gun alongside of him. Awkward move for Liberal Arts, who's at the back with Imperial Gun. So they're down the back stretch here. Muth on the outside, and Timberlake, Flavian Pratt lets him loose on the inside, lets it out a notch, and he's the pacemaker down the back stretch. So it is Timberlake, the Rebel winner, in front by a half length. Muth perched outside of him, hounding from the outside. Jess Steele 3rd. Time for Truth between horses. Dymatic is down on the inside. Then Informed Patriot will take at the maiden is dropped back. Mystik Dan patiently ridden. He's out of harm's way on the outside. 7 lengths off the pace. Liberal Arts trying to re-rally in the 2nd last spot. And Imperial Guns at the back around the 4th turn. There goes Muth to challenge Timberlake, and the race is on now. Muth on the outside, strides level. Timberlake back in 2nd as Muth takes command. Muth and Juan Hernandez have a 1/4 mile more to get, and Hernandez gives him the cue to go, and Muth off the turn, still in front. Timberlake 2nd, Jess Steele 3rd, then Mystik Dan, who tries to rally on. Furlong to go. It's Muth. Jess Steele running huge in 2nd. Timberlake 3rd. Muth with a 16th to go. He's opened up by 3, and it's Muth coming down the stretch in Hot Springs to win it. Muth, the son of good magic, wins the Arkansas Derby. Jess Steele 2nd. Mystik Dan 3rd. Ready to go in the Southwest. And they're off. Mystik Dan broke sharply today. So did Carbone and Otto the Conqueror, his stablemate. The 2 Aspis in entrance 1-2. Otto the Conqueror has the lead. Carbone 2nd. Winstock running in the 3rd position, placed in a good stalking position, but was aggressively ridden out of the gate. Wasn't quick enough to go with the front runner, Otto the Conqueror. Jess Steele a bit keen here. Outside of Winstock, 2 lengths back to linebacker. Then comes Awesome Road. Mystik Dan was on the lead in his last couple of starts. Today he's about 6 lengths behind in midfield. He's racing with his stablemate Combat Defense. Liberal Arts is next. Charleston, the maiden, is 2nd to last, and that leaves Magic Grant to trail the field with 5 furlongs to go. Otto the Conqueror paving the way here by a half length. Carbone applying the pressure to that stablemate with a half mile left to go. A length and a half to Jess Steele in 3rd. Winstock in the 4th spot, now sent along from that position. On the inside, Mystik Dan attempts to get closer, slips inside of Winstock. Linebacker is next, trying to pass runners on the outside. He's 4 lengths behind, making a move as Winstock plummets back in the wrong direction. He's done. Liberal Arts trying to move forward inside of the weakening Winstock. He's about 6 lengths off the pace as the leaders start to line up, coming back to the lead. Jess Steele making a big move after Carbone and Otto the Conqueror. Jess Steele storms to the front. Jess Steele and Ramon Vasquez have 3/16ths to go. Here comes Mystik Dan right up the rail, though, with a rail skimming ride by Brian Hernandez Jr. And Mystik Dan is turning it on in a huge effort for the Kenny McPeak barn. Mystik Dan 5-6 ahead, and he wins wrapped up. A dominant win in the Southwest. 2nd home was Jess Steele. Liberal Arts came on for 3rd, and 4th was Common Defense.
Ready for the dirt mile. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and Vickers in Trouble gets ahead of Goldencents from the beginning, and Rafael Bejarano wants the lead, and he's going to go to a drive on the inside to get it. But Vickers in Trouble is right with him, and Pants on Fire will settle into 3rd as they go along at a speedy early pace. And then toward the inside, racing in 4th position, is Fed Biz. And then comes Tapiture to the outside, break up 2 to Big Bane Theory, and then comes Carve, followed by Bronzo and Golden Ticket. The opening 1/4 mile, 22 flat, just like last year. That same early fraction set by Goldencents, but he's being pressed this year by Vickers in Trouble, and he's only a half length behind, and he's making Goldencents do some work up the backstretch, and they have moved away about 7 lengths ahead of the others. Pants on Fire is next. Carve is alongside of him, and Tapiture splits those two. Rosina Pravnik going up in between horses here, 7 lengths off the lead, past a 44 and 4.5 mile. And Goldencents has had enough of Vickers in trouble as the field swings into the far turn, and he turns on to a 5-length lead. But Tapiture is in hot pursuit now, and he's cutting that gap with every stride. Pants on Fire is next, then Big Bane Theory and Carve, and Goldencents has run 3/4 in 109.1, and he's into the stretch looking for another Breeders' Cup win. Goldencents to the 8th pole. Tapiture is full out, but he's coming on. Less than a furlong to go. It's Goldencents and Tapiture. Goldencents just keeps on going. Goldencents